Hi, I'm Jane Houseel, and I'm creating this video to explore the portrayal of women in the media, how their portrayal affects people, and how it affects how women are seen and treated. This video is going to be a series of interviews followed by an explanation of what the people I interviewed said. I hope everybody learns a lot from this video and enjoys. Thank you!
I think these are very, very unrealistic and also very objectifying.
Well, I think these photos are very disrespectful and demeaning to women.
Seems rather ideal as portrayed in the media.
First one is disrespectful because it makes women look like they try to impress men with how they dress, how they look in general. And then it's also showing her taking a selfie, which I think is making fun of her, or girls in a way. Because girls tend to take selfies a lot. And then, okay, go on to the second one. Oh yeah. In the second one, the girl looks stronger than the first one because she's holding guns and she's stronger. And then she also looks over-sexualized because of like the way that she's staged in the picture. So yeah.
I guess these images are unrealistic and objectifying to women, I guess. And yeah, I mean they're obviously fake because they're like cartoon.
The women are portrayed as over-sexualized, and they're not wearing as much clothes as it's realistic. And they're also cartoons, so a lot of it isn't really realistic because no woman looks like this.
She's portrayed really sexually because she's wearing a bikini and she has a lot of exposed skin, and you can see that she has like really big boobs. Because it's probably like this way because people think that men will see that and be like, oh, she has big boobs, all bad this game.
I think that these photos are very unrealistic and fake. Women are being portrayed very like over-sexualized, and it doesn't look real.
Well, they're like showing off, like, look at me, like, and they're not wearing much because the first woman, she just doesn't really like have any clothes on, and I think that's not real. Like, women don't really like go to the beach like looking like that. Like, they have like a fitted swimsuit on, and in here they're not like, this girl's like on duty, and when you're on duty, you're not just gonna wear like short shorts and like a tank top. You want to be like protected yourself. You want to protect yourself. So I think that it's like not realistic at all.
Well, it makes me feel very mad at the video game creators because they see women in this way that's just like not real. And as little boys, they grow up playing video games because it's just the thing that they do. And as they see like women in video games like this, they're gonna grow up thinking that it's like okay.
Well, these photos make me feel really annoyed that the video game people would put like women in clothes like this and think that it's okay for other people to be playing these video games because it's not.
They make me feel upset because not all women look like that.
It probably makes them feel like down that they're not as like beautiful and like perfect as those pictures are, so it probably like, I don't know, like makes them feel down, I guess.
I think that it just like it doesn't make other girls like feel good about themselves. I feel like if maybe it's like, oh, I wish I looked like her, but really in reality it's fake and no one is gonna look like her because it's unrealistic.
Show them as like objects.
Well, it makes me feel like, well, because like I don't look like that, so it could make me feel like, I don't know, just bad about myself because these women are like really pretty, so it makes me feel like why don't I look like that? Like, if that's how they look, why can't I look like that?
I think it affects them negatively, and it makes them think like, why can't I look like this, and what possesses people to do.
3 things that the participants I interviewed mentioned about the women were that the women were over-sexualized, they were not wearing a lot of clothes, and that the women were unrealistically beautiful. In a 2005 study done by Dill and Thill, it was determined that the 3 major stereotypical portrayals of women in video games were: number 1, the women were sexualized; number 2, the women were scantily clad; and number 3, the women were beautiful. More than 1/4 of women in video games embody all 3 of these stereotypical categories, and 80% of female characters in video games represent at least one of these categories. According to my interviews, many people thought that the women were unrealistic because no one in real life looked as ideal as the characters in the game. After talking to young girls and boys, I was able to see that the unrealistic beauty featured in video games can make girls feel bad about their bodies and how they look. When female gamers play video games featuring idealistic women, they develop a twisted image of how girls should really look. And when they aren't able to attain this perfect standard of beauty, they develop bad body image and low self-esteem. Additionally, I conducted an online survey to see what even more people had to say about the portrayal in video games. And what I found is that people thought that video games were setting unattainable beauty standards. One response from an 8th grade girl said, "This portrayal is completely unrealistic and sets an example that all women should look like that. It also objectifies them in a way in that only women who look like that are pretty." The example the video game sets make girls feel inferior and makes them feel as if they are not beautiful. Another response remarked, "Also, I hate how unrealistic games and social media is. Nobody is perfect, nobody has a perfect body, nobody has perfect skin, and the media just makes all women feel terrible about themselves. If all you see is people with perfect bodies and perfect everything, they're going to want to change themselves." Overall, the interviews and surveys revealed how girls and women feel about themselves after viewing unrealistic female characters in video games. The Dill and Thill study, along with information from my interviews, led me to believe that the over-sexualization of women in video games is another major problem. Video game companies produced over-sexualized female characters with the idea that it will help lure teenage boys, their biggest audience, to play the game. The women in video games are often depicted wearing little clothing and with an exaggerated figure. The women, instead of being seen as heroines or fighters, are seen as sex objects. Young male gamers grow up viewing these women and thinking it's okay to see women and treat them as sex objects, instead of viewing them as strong and powerful. One response I collected through my survey from an 8th grade girl said, "I think that these 2 images of video game women are very sexual, and as a result, women are looked at as objects." Another response stated, "These images, unfortunately, are an over-idealized presentation of women who are likely being marketed to young men, based on many people's ideas of a typical gamer, a young teenage male. It would not be surprising to learn that video game makers specifically place these kinds of images in order to attract this gamer to the product. In doing so, they continue to perpetuate the sexualization and objectification of women, as well as relegate their roles to being secondary to the main hero. The objectification in video games only has a negative effect on women and girls." At this point, the portrayal of women in video games is not all negative, but for the most part it is. The effect it has on women is that women feel worse about their bodies and they are seen as objects. My hope is that one day soon, the video game industry will include more female characters that are strong and powerful and less sexualized and objectified. I hope this video has taught you a lot. Thank you for watching.